So you achieved your goals with getting to WCW and in Japan. I mean, talk about a night and day difference.
I loved Japan. I really did. I went for Michinoku Pro, which was ran by the great Sasuke. Had Grand Hamada there. They had Jinsei Hakushi. They had a young Taka Michinoku, young Fujinora, Fujiwara rather, and Sean Funaki. I'm sorry. Think of all these guys I met while I was there, and I got the thing is Willie Wilkinson Jr. was there, and he was a Malenko guy. He was kind of a policeman for the company I worked for. He was kind of the trainer. He had worked under Gotch, so he was kind of the trainer and the coach there. And every tour I went on, there was usually two Americans and two Mexican wrestlers, and then a regular crew. And I'd go from the shortest time I went was the last time way back when was 2 weeks. Usually I went for 4 to 6 weeks. And you're on that tour bus or you're on a train, and every night you're working. And the work there is those guys train for 2 years before they even get a quote exhibition match sometimes, before they can actually be. Then they'll go to Mexico or Canada or somewhere, England, and work for another year, then come back. So they have 3 years experience before they really have their first matches, most of them. And so I got to be there because of the name Malenko. It carried a lot of weight. And the first night in, well, first of all, it was two Mexican guys. One was Superboy and Senor Lino. The Solar Man was there. And so they were helping me some too with the language and stuff. And they gave me a young boy, really thick, nice, professional looking guy. And he said, you're over. Give him a couple things and watch yourself. This guy had these big thighs, kick pads on. And man, he started, whop, whop, whop. But that's what I knew what to expect. And we were working too, though. And so, man, I was like, well, and I used to wear the kick pad. I just gave it back, and then I'd take them down and I'd let them up. And I was like, brother, to myself, I'm getting over here one way or the other because, and he wasn't trying to hurt me. I wasn't trying to hurt him, but it was competitive, And I got the victory. I came back and Hamada said, one of his boys, Hamada said, hey, how'd the young boy do? I said, he done really, really good. He goes, too stiff for you? I said, no. I said, I like that. So let the boys know snug's fine with me, And that got me over. And then I started working with Jinsei, who had just come off of New York TV, and he knew American style. And he was about my size, maybe a little bit bigger. With same height, but his muscularity, a little more muscle maturity, if you will. And he could speak very good English when he wanted to. And I had good matches with him. And then eventually Sasuke, before the first tour was over, like, tonight, Bobby, with me. I was nervous, man. I mean, nervous. And we were in his hometown. There's about 2,200 people there. And there's going to be a championship match where, they give you the flowers and everything. And we went out there and tore it down. You just touch Sasuke and he's flying for you. And man, he was going through chairs and over. And then he did his flip, the back flip, what's it called there? Shooting star press. And I caught him outside the ring. And man, he came down like a missile. And I locked my arms around him, and I literally locked. And he's a little bit shorter than me. And at the last second, he was going through me. His costume was really light and slick. He was flying right through me. His head was going to hit that concrete. And I just went back into a bridge and took the bump at the right second because his head just missed that floor. And he gave me the office down on the floor, and I knew that was over. I said, I knew I'd done the right thing because he could have got hurt. And just because he was going so fast. And so we blah, 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 done the thing, rolled back in. I got out one submission. They popped for that. We went about 16 minutes. So the next submission, he comes off the top rope, dragged me, and put me in a submission hold. I tapped. And that's when the people over there, the crowd over there, they will pop when you do something good. And if you give a good performance and a good match and a competitive match, I won't say it doesn't matter if you win or lose, because it sure as hell does, because Sasuke is going to win in his hometown. But if you lose or you get beat and you have that kind of match, man, they will applaud you. Some of them will give you a standing ovation, depending where you're at. So when I finished up that tour, that was maybe the second night for my last date there or something, and they already asked me to come back again in like 2 more months, But and I went 5 times total. I couldn't go when I was in WCW. I think they had their deal with New Japan at that time, and I wasn't in that class of guys that were going. But as soon as WCW, my run there was over, I was right back in Japan within a couple of weeks. Uh, I just loved it over there, and I loved the culture. I loved the fans. I loved the way they reacted and respected the business. I loved the matches because they were so competitive, and they had so many good stars over there. And while I was there, I got to see talent exchange sometimes. Some of the guys would go, the FMW guys would come over, 2 or 3 of them for a day or two, and we'd send, or Saskia would send, a couple of guys over to FMW. They'd bring in the girls, like most companies, for like 2 weeks. They'd bring in a couple top girl wrestlers, and they'd travel with us. So it was really cool. Had a nice big tour bus, had my own seat, had a TV, and of course you learn to take your own headphones and your own gimmicks and all that. So, but I loved it over there, and I'd go back again, but not to wrestle, but just to see all these guys, And if I could watch some of the people they've trained through the years and go to some matches, I'd love to do that, man. Just to see where what everyone's doing, but and how much the business changed, I'm sure.
It's good to see that it's still thriving.
Yeah,
Professional wrestling, as a whole is still thriving, but the Japan, it's the wrestling there is still, off the charts,
yeah,
with all these different promotions. And, now in the US, you see the exposure. You see
yeah,
all the, you
yeah,
get all this access to, New Japan and Noah and all these different companies
yeah.
that are still putting on incredible, incredible cards.
Yeah.